In this lesson, I'm going to show you how to use the tools that we just talked about to remove something from the background. Here's this shot, and you can find it by going to the folders and opening up background power lines image. I'm going to get rid of these power lines that are in the background, which are a little bit distracting from this image. I'm just going to zoom in just a little bit. And then I'm going to grab my clone stamp tool. This is a good image for using the clone stamp because this background is out of focus. It's kind of blurry. And so duplicating this part of the trees, out of the blurry background of the trees, will look good for covering up these power lines. So I'm just going to option click up here, something like this, and just start painting on right here. You got to be aware of where the branches are, and maybe where the branches are, like come in here really close. Take your clone stamp tool, make it really small, and then just copy and paste where these branches are, something like so. Same with down here, copy and paste the branch so that it goes on top of the actual power line. Then again, using the clone stamp tool to cover up all of these power lines. You gotta be careful if you go to the edge of the photo. Say I choose this right here, and then I start painting it on right here. Whoops, there's the edge of that photo. So you got to be aware of that when you're using this tool. So I'm just going to go over and keep painting on. Make sure that I'm completely covering up this power line. Sometimes using a bigger brush with more feathering actually looks good. So I'm just going to make this a little bit bigger. Make the hardness not as hard. Go pick some down here. Something like that. See, I got some of his hair right there, so I'm going to just cover that up again. And another thing you can do is just kind of go over it a couple times just to make sure that the pattern isn't just the same over and over. Okay? So over around his hair, you got to be a little bit more precise. Get in there like so. And then also being aware of where there's other parts of the image. So here's this light coming in. So I got to be aware to, leave some of that light, but not just duplicate it. If I zoom out here, I don't want it to look like a pattern that I'm creating. So it's looking pretty good, and this is just a pretty easy photo to remove the background because the background is so blurred out and there's a lot of stuff going on in the background. If this was a cleaner background without the bokeh of the out of focus trees, it might be a little bit more difficult. But if we go to the original by going to our history tab and going to open, and going to our last clone stamp, awesome. You see this, and this photo I would say is a lot better. You wish those power lines weren't there in the beginning, but sometimes you're dealing with taking a photo in a location where there's just something in the background that you can't get rid of while you're taking the photo, but here in Photoshop you can do it. So that's how you remove something from the background with the clone stamp tool.